Cheers, man.
Man, that smells good, yeah.
That smells good.
Cheers.
But yes, it's amazing to have you back.
It's good to be back, brother.
What do you reckon?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Warbringer.
That's fun.
Shout out to Josh Barnett for giving me that. I do still owe you a bottle of Shivers. I had it in my car and I forgot to drop it to him at the airport, but I owe you that bottle of Shivers next time you're down in Australia, Mr. Barnett. Everyone's a big fan of your bourbon.
Shivers got nothing on this, though.
Dude, how nice.
Oh, I'm just like...
You liking it?
You got to let it sit in that back end of it. It's like,
That's what I mean. I reckon you have to let it... And adding ice, I believe, makes it more smoky, so I probably shouldn't have done that. I don't know why.
So when you add ice or even just like water, it kind of releases the oils in it.
Is that why it's for announces the smoke?
Yeah.
But I do like a smoky drink. I'm a heathen, so I'm going to put some ginger ale in this.
I'm good with this for now.
Yeah, I thought you would be. You're more of a seasoned brown liquor drinker than me.
I love it.
I thought I won't put Coke in it and give everyone a fucking
Oh my god.
We got some ginger ale or something.
If you got some fancy ginger ale, that counts. That's okay.
You've been making some moves.
Little bit.
You've been I don't know what you're even calling them. The art, the painting. They paint. Is that what medium is it?
Yeah, it's paint.
Paint?
Yeah. It's just I actually only use house paint. So when we paint murals, we use like exterior acrylic, and that's in and out of the studio. That's what I use.
Yeah.
Only thing. But
have you been like where did the idea for? I actually got a little list of questions that I'm just bringing up. I'm not being rude.
No, you're good.
I'm just going to bring them
up. I just want to have more of this.
Them in. But so like, what is the process? For everyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, I'll put an image up of it shortly on the window so you can see it in the podcast. How do you come up with an idea for that? Because that's hell.
Yeah.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's hell different to your art style, but just the execution of it is very fucking strange.
Yeah, well, I think that's the key to it too. Is I don't think I've ever seen anyone do anything like this. So it did take me a while to actually figure out the mechanics of it, the kind of like ins and outs. But I think a lot of my work lately has been like layered, and so like I'm always bringing different imagery into the one thing, and I think, to be honest, it was a kid's toy, like a little kid's puzzle that got me thinking on the movement. But then I also had to think about ways of actually allowing the layers to move without it like either falling off or scratching the painting underneath. So yeah, I've been sitting on that one for a year, to be honest, but like
a year.
Been thinking of the whole concept for maybe 2 or 3 years.
How do you like? Is it magnets? Oh, you said that. Is it magnets?
So this one, it is like the first layer is actually painted on like galvanized iron. So I've painted onto that, and then the square blocks of like recessed magnets into it.
So it's fucking. And you did all this yourself, or did you outsource this?
Like my dad, Wogs just can do anything.
Ingenuity.
Yeah, man. And so.
Is your dad artistic as well?
No, I mean, he's definitely creative.
In a different way.
Like he was like a Boilermaker welder, and I remember he used to create toys out of like metal when I was a kid. So he is creative, but like he's just like he can do anything. And so we made up these sort of shapes and recessed some magnets into it.
It's fucking just so... I just fucking love that dude.
Cheers,
so
brother.
much. We'll get to how much I can't afford it soon. But is this a video of it?
I don't know.
This is just a still frame of it, is it?
Yeah. Oh, maybe it is. I don't know.
Oh, there you go. You can see him moving around slowly.
Yeah, slowly, yeah.
But here, I'll show you guys while I got it. It's just so cool. It's such a cool concept.
Thanks, man.
Now, is the plan is to do a series of these?
Yeah, so the plan is to do at least 10 of these. So this is not going to be in the show.
Yeah.
So this is the prototype, but I'm going to have at least 10. I don't know. Do I want to give it away? I don't know. And so the new ones that I've been working on actually move themselves.
Really? That's fucking
and
such
so,
a cool piece to have in the house.
Yeah. But even cooler, at the show, with all 10 of them together.
You want them like to tell a story or synchronization?
So there's definitely like a concept through the whole thing, but also, they'll all be moving at the same time and in sync to music too. It's going to be fucked.
It's very like fucking like Squid Game-esque, like fucking.
Sure, yeah.
Like, do you remember those rooms, those weird rooms?
Yeah.
And like,
it's
just fun. That's very fun.
Yeah, I think especially with the pieces moving itself, it might be a bit creepy, but like I kind of dig that kind of sense of eeriness and that sort of dystopian sort of feel. And so there'll be there is a running story through the whole thing. But also I didn't actually, So like there's the first layer, which is the painting, and then there's a second layer, which is the blocks.
Yeah.
But then in a certain configuration, it also shows different imagery too.
Yeah, right.
So there'll be like secret shapes, like geometric shapes, secret messages. Like I have always loved like hidden things and like subliminal messaging and that sort of thing. So I think that's my biggest inspiration, is just kind of the continual like, what the hell is that? Oh, that doesn't make sense. But then if it turns like this, and then it's like a big reveal. So
are they all going to have the same aesthetic?
Yeah.
They all will have like a similar aesthetic. Same woman.
No, it's a different. Yeah, it's different. But the stories continue. But then also, I got a little bit sidetracked because I've been doing this for years now. I'm doing a little side mission, and so it's under the same concept of like the moving panels, but like the panels will be bigger. And it won't be figurative. It'd be something completely different. So, and that is something I could do quicker, and I'm planning to release that this year.
And that might be more cost affordable for the average person.
Yeah. So
I almost fell off my fucking chair. And it is like, not saying that it isn't worth that. Well, but I was just like baffled because I've never actually known someone that creates things that are worth that.
Gotcha.
So what would be how do you justify art prices?
Yeah, I mean, you can charge anything for anything, right? It doesn't necessarily gonna mean that people buy it, but like I've had like close gallerists that I trust like kind of critique it and kind of price it, and they came out with X amount. And I thought, that's kind of worth it. Like I am spending months on these pieces. But it's more of like there's a point of like, especially as a street artist, your art is always free. You can look at it for free. Like I do prints like cheap, so it's like cheap. But like I think for me, the next level is to have artwork that is of a monetary value to actually. It's not really the figure; it's more of like the status that comes with it.
Yeah.
So eventually, like when these do come out and they do sell, and I kind of want them all to be sold to the same person, but
I
don't know some Arab sheik, so I got to figure out how to get the right heads in front of it.
I'd say you'd have to do you'd have to put them in Sydney.
Yeah,
I'd say that would be the location where you'd have best chance of some like Chinese.
Oh yeah, the funny thing though, I put that poll up of where should I put it, and Adelaide was first, Melbourne was second, and Sydney got nothing.
I imagine that would be the state with the most indisposable ink, or like I don't know.
Money.
I don't know the art scene, but that's where all the money is.
You lived in Sydney for a bit, right? Yeah, in certain parts, like
it's just wealth. There's different levels of wealth in Australia. Like Adelaide, we have very wealthy people here. Melbourne has very wealthy people. Sydney has I feel like business wealthy people. Like monarchs.
Yeah.
Like that's where you get like the Chinese billionaires and same as Melbourne. Melbourne has that too. Yeah. Adrian Portelli might buy all of them and just put them in his toilet.
Let's go. Bathroom. Like I've got like one or two clients that could buy a piece each, but to buy a whole like collection is
What is the price if you don't mind telling people? Or what is the ballpark?
Well, so I've had multiple people say it was around 80 to 100, and then I had other people that said like 20 and 30. So in between that, it's about 50k.
I think it's pretty reasonable. It sounds like a lot.
Yeah, again, it's
but I think
different.
that's pretty reasonable.
You know, it's so weird in the art world. Like, so I would say like the street art graffiti scene is very lowbrow, right? And so, like, other than your Banksies and your, you know, Cores is a pretty popular one. Like, no one's. Oh, maybe your James Jean. Have you heard of James Jean?
No.
He's nuts, dude. Like, that guy. And he's not really like street art or anything, but he's more like contemporary, and he's like a real distinct like Oriental style. Like, he's getting into museums and stuff, but majority of us are not, and like considered lowbrow. But like, there's this entire other world in the art world that like we cannot even touch, right? Where like multi-millionaires and billionaires like buy like cash out on all these pieces because it's like a tax grift for them. So I want to get onto that.
Yeah, they're fucking nice, man. That is very cool. It's a very cool concept, and you can tell it's your piece.
Yeah. I think that's the key for it too. Is like I've developed like a certain style and a certain like language.
The skull.
Yeah.
The skull. Have you found that that's kind of like a trademark of yours now?
It is now, which is weird because other like than that first skull I painted, I'd never painted skulls before.
Really?
Yeah. So that was my first thing, and now everyone's like, "Oh, you're the skull guy," which is weird. But like I think the layered narratives is I've always kind of had that sort of thing, and just like the subliminal messaging and stuff like.
Do you have like your color palette you want laid out before you start the piece?
Yeah, what's interesting about this is like I've been really working on my colors. There's no black and there's no white in it.
In this?
Yeah.
No black or white?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And a lot of the reasons why it works is because it's working with color temperature. Like you can
so
see,
that's not black?
Nah, that's like dark blue. Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, it's like purple actually. It's like red and blue. And I deliberately like gave myself those restrictions so it like keep it in tight. Like the tighter, it's hard to explain, but internal value, if you have like tighter values, it looks better. And so I've been really working on that. But yeah, the temperature, like the woman in the back is like, her face is deliberately cooler, and the woman in front, her face is really warmer. And so that really has a high contrast. So these are sort of things that I've been learning by myself over the years, and like, all right, let's give it a crack. Let's see how it actually works. So yeah.
Well, you nailed it, man. When is the ball rolling?
I don't know. That's my problem. Is like I could never actually find time to do this stuff. I said last year I was like going to do 2 mural jobs, and now we're like 3 or 4 deep, and still got more coming. So it's the kind of thing of like doing the murals to pay the bills, but then finding the time. And that's what I do with my money. Is I don't buy flashy cars or anything. I buy time. And so I've got to buy that. I swear it's got to be come June, July. I've got to start cracking more onto these, especially if I want to do the show at the end of the year.
Now that you have like the concept and the direction, because you said this has been like a few years in the making.
Yeah.
Now that you have the concept and the kind of grasp of how to do it, the next one's come pretty naturally.
Yeah, and like the mechanics is just I can pump that out and then just like work on the actual painting.
I imagine the mechanics would have been the biggest head fuck.
Yeah, and it still is. Like that piece is quite heavy.
Yeah, you're a sales like when you bring it down, your load's pretty fucking heavy.
It's huge. It's probably like 2 by like so 1.5 by 2 meters.
Really?
Maybe. Yeah, it's huge.
That big.
Yeah. So it's heavy. It's heavy. So like these new ones have been using different materials to get it lighter, and like obviously with the mechanics of it moving itself, it's like a whole different ball game behind the scenes. So yeah, man, I wish I could work on it like 24/7, but I've got other things to do. Got kids, I've got a whole blooming life, and like it's almost like this sort of thing is like at the end of at the end of my time. But like I said, like I'll do big jobs just so I can fund the mortgage and fund the family, and then have a play with this stuff.
Yeah, it's bloody, just so people can see it in a full thing. That's that there. Dude.
It's funny the response, because like it's been hanging up in my house for like over a year. Really? And I almost like forgotten about it. And like I wanted to have it in the show, so like I didn't post it because I actually don't post probably 80 to 90% of what I do. But then I was like, who cares? Just release it. And there's also like a bit of hesitancy because I feel like no one's ever done this. I didn't want like copycats to come out and just do the same thing. So I was like a bit insecure about it. But then I was like, no, fuck it. Who cares? Just release it. Whatever.
Yeah, it's bloody cool, man. You've done well.
Cheers, bud. Yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes. But like I said, it's so hard to get those right heads in front of it.
How many of those kind of pieces do you just have laying around your house that never saw the day of light?
So about 5.
The light of day.
So in this series, I'm working on 5. But previous, I've had entire bodies of work that no one's ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they just stashed somewhere at your house?
Yeah. But that's what I kind of like that. Like, I kind of like... One, it keeps your motivations in check because you're doing it for yourself. But also... you know, like in this art world, in this Insta world, like everyone is just like constantly updating everyone what they're doing at like the second it happens. And like, for me, it's like, I'm kind of anti that. And I'd rather, it's more fun. It's more fun. I don't know what it is, but I
also
like
your kids will end up like once you're gone and your kids inherit all this.
Yeah,
they have all of this unreleased work of yours to
that'd
do.
be cool. And then they can flog it for millions. That'd be cool.
Yeah, they'll fucking flog it straight off.
Well, I ain't got no money, so I can't really. Oh man, we live in such different times, dude. Like, it's so weird. I'm almost 40. How old are you?
31.
I'm like at the other end of 30, and it's already at that age of like, oh, we really got to work on that super. We really got to work on like the future sort of thing. And it's boring and it's dull, but it's like time is of the essence. And you know, because like I'm like a millennial, and I think our sort of generation and probably the first generation to be like, oh, we don't actually have that much money to like give to our kids as inheritance. Like, mum and dad, sure, but like, you know, boomer generations, they
different
sitting on it.
Well, just having a house to give your kids now is good enough. Because those fucking kids are not going to buy a house when they're 20. It's impossible.
It's impossible, man.
Unless they go to Davern Park and buy a unit.
Dude, even out there, you're paying 50, 60K for a housing trust house, dude.
It's fucking wild, dude. It's just like, if you have a house now to give your kids, you're in the 1%.
You've killed it, yeah. And for me, as a creative, as like my own business owner, like it's been a struggle just to get ahead, but then to actually to sit on that, to save, and to actually build that sort of quote unquote generational wealth, it's like almost impossible, man. Like I said, like in this scene, like there's only maybe a top less than 1% that actually financially make it really, unless you know you do something like this. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, well, fucking, do you know what? The good thing about this is it's actually artistic.
Cheers.
Nothing, because I find myself as I get older, I really enjoy art. Bit gay, but I do. I really enjoy like looking at artworks.
Yeah.
But I like originals. I really enjoy original art pieces.
Yeah.
There's nothing fucking gayer and more annoying than all of these like real modern artists that are doing real retarded shit.
Yeah.
What's that Chinese dude that just holds his body against clay?
Yeah.
And there's just like the woke culture and art culture of like combined.
Yeah, because it's all like postmodernism.
But it's
like,
just not art.
Nah, well, like...
art's subjective.
Again,
no, it's not. Art has to look nice at the end of the day.
For me, I make a living off of making a product and selling it to someone. Where these people like just come up with a concept and they get funding. So I've gone for like multiple grants and lose to absolute drop kicks and just like scratch my head like, how the hell did that happen? But
it's like those people that fucking tie up a paint tin and they'll just throw it at a big canvas and it'll do like a geometric shape.
My favorite one is the chick who like slaps the butter with a microphone.
That's like, very funny.
At what point do you like...
That's
as a viewer, just like, oh, she's actually taking the piss.
No, she's fucking mentally unstable. Like, good on her. She's found a career being mentally unstable. But
yeah.
It makes me... I've always wondered, it's like, if I just throw a fucking like paint and just get a bit of human shit and throw it out of canvas. Can I sell that? Someone will buy it.
You will. Well, the banana taped to the wall, dude. That's the biggest cop out, you know.
Oh, yeah, and there's so many. There's actually this fucking artist that I follow now, and he strictly does glass work, but he does like glass fractures glass, and he makes these beautiful murals. Have you seen it?
Nah, that's sick.
Oh, dude, he does these like epic. He does paintings, but his medium's just broken glass.
That's wild. That's cool.
It's insane. I'll see cool. Where is it?
Yeah, I dig that. There's something that I've like themes that I've always carried is like brokenness and like making sort of trash look good, I guess. And so that sort of thing is my deal. Is this the guy?
I don't believe so. No.
It's so hard. Like yeah, it's hard because I know of so many different artists, but I couldn't tell you their names.
Oh, dude, and it's just like it's on IG, so like you're just doom scrolling on Instagram, and it just fucking
I get it.
Goes through your brains.
I run like this like art sharing account, and I started it with a friend of mine in Melbourne, and we're just kind of like posting artists that we love. And then like eventually he was like, I'm done with this, and I'm also done with this, but like people constantly want me to post. I have artists like sending their work to me saying, oh, can you post this sort of deal? And like, not really, I've got to choose it. But yeah, I know a stack of artists and I could visually describe what it's like, but their names I probably couldn't.
There he is.
Hey, that's wild. Yeah.
Simon Berger, his name is.
That's cool.
He just does really... This to me is like nice modern art. This is cool modern art. He's actually doing the fucking art.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's just the pieces look insane in the right light. Like in a house, that would look fucking insane.
Yeah, exactly. That's wild.
That's talented.
Yeah. And like he's not just done the same old, you know, he's come up with a completely different concept.
It's like one of my favourite artists is that graffiti artist. I believe his name's Caesar. He's from like a
you
Portuguese
showed me last time, I reckon.
Like that's just so fun.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But he also does illegals still, which is crazy. And he's
yeah, they all do.
Yeah, but it's just like this is just fucking cool. It's just a cool
that's
piece.
Wild, man. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. That and you can tell straight away that would sell and that would be popular, and because it's so unique.
Yeah,
like it's his own thing. He's come up with his own concept, and you know, I'm hoping like this whole new thing is a new thing for me that kind of sets me as that. I don't know.
How do you approach a gap like?
Yeah.
Do you fit in the art scene, or do you find it a bit wanky?
So again, like the street art mural scene has its own sort of galleries, and like within those circles, like I fit in well. Like a few years ago, I was like in group shows every weekend. I'd just go over to Melbourne for the opening, and you know, but like again with that sort of lowbrow, highbrow thing.
No, you're all good. Continue.
It's different worlds, and like the highbrow world, like look at us as like, you know, just thugs. So
much like I remember I was talking to you. I've talked to every kind of like you, J2 Ski, all of those artists that I find that are graffiti artists that bridge the gap between just being a fucking grapher and then becoming an actual true artist.
Sure, yeah.
Like, not saying graffiti artists aren't true artists, but like there is a point in time where you got to be like, okay, do I want to continue just trying to break the system and doing this, or do I want to actually make an avenue where I can monetize this and become an artist?
Yeah.
And people might say, oh, you're fucking cop out, but
you sell out.
But they're feeding their kids with their fucking passion.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then it's like, is it another level to go from being like a street artist to now trying to get into the finer art world?
Yeah, I think that's for all of us, like in my level and higher, that's the kind of like end goal, because there's a point of that where murals become a bit boring, and you kind of want to be taken a bit seriously. And so, you know, for Adnate to win the Packers prize at the Archibald last year was huge. You know, it was like not only a huge win for him, but it was a huge win for the entire scene.
Well, dude, I get so many. Everyone that comes in my house and sees that canvas you did for me, it's like, that's fucking dope.
Yeah,
like it's just so dope.
Yeah.
It's such a cool thing to have. Like, and I think the thing about that I enjoy about art is owning a piece of the artist.
Yeah.
Like
I
now
completely get
I
it.
have like a Jack Fran in
Yeah,
my house.
yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I got a Stu Pagnan in my house.
Yeah.
And I got a Jay Tuski. I got all these artists.
Yeah.
And it's like you have like a piece of their history.
For sure. Well, before I owned and it was just renting, I never really understood that. I was like, oh, if I wanted some artwork, I can just paint it myself, right? But like now that I own, I've been collecting some artwork. And it's so addictive, dude, because, yeah, you want that. You don't just want the image, but you want it's from that person and you want the whole history of journey.
I like the clutter of it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I never understood it until I went into Jay Tuski's house. Shout out to him. He's a beautiful human being. I went into his house and his house is fucking top to bottom.
And
in
he's into that full 50s
weird
he has
styles.
like the cookie jars and stuff. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And then my missus, I remember when she first started coming around my house, I like had my ex-missus didn't like hanging shit and stuff. So when we broke up, I fucking just went crazy.
Yeah.
Just shit everywhere.
Totally, yeah.
And my new missus walked in and she's like, this is fucking wild.
Yeah.
And now she likes it.
Yeah, that's it.
But it's like, I love just like sometimes I'll just sit down and just look at it.
Totally, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it also like the art that you collect also describes who you are, right? And
it's very like it's like your Instagram page.
Totally,
It's like when people curate their Instas so they look a certain way. It's like this is my Instagram page.
Yeah, and like especially in the world of like interior design, because I do a bit of interior design too. Like it's always like this is the trend. You got to follow it, but there's no personality in it. But when you start,
you do interior. Oh yeah, I remember you telling me you do interior.
But when you start collecting your own work, it becomes more personalized, and you have like a certain stories or attachments to the artwork, and it just like it actually describes you, even if it's not you, it describes your style or whatever you're into. So, I think having a massive collection is cool, and I probably got somewhere between like 100 and 200 prints, and probably only have like 20 of them like hanging. And so like I constantly try to rotate them, but like there's a lot of that my missus doesn't like. But
see, the thing with me, I love originals.
Yeah,
like, I just think there's something about even I got Stu Pagnan prints, and he uses really fine art paper, and you can almost like kind of still see texture in it. But there's nothing like seeing like it's the imperfections that make it.
Absolutely. And like prints are good because it makes it more accessible. Like rather than spending a few $1,000s, you're spending a few $100s on a piece.
Yeah.
But like there's nothing like a real painting.
No, there's not. Just the smell.
Yeah,
the smell like yours, I can smell it still.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what
right.
I mean?
Yeah, and like I love the texture of like seeing the brush strokes.
Yeah, bro, we can't replicate.
Nah, you can't. Even with a print, you can't replicate that sort of thing. So yeah, I've got a few paintings, but nothing like because the artists that I really love, they sell their prints for like 3 to 8 to 9K.
Are you fucking kidding?
They're prints.
And
they're originals.
They'd have to do like limited runs of the prints.
And they go like that, dude. They just like, that's how popular they are. They just go like hotcakes, right? And their paintings are like 10x that. So they're 8, 10K, and no one bats an eyelid. It's like, I would spend that money on it,
Dude, if your paintings go hell well and they all sell,
yours,
that bitch is gone.
That's funny because like there are a few artists that like are obsessed with their work being resold and they hate it.
Dude, you can't be. I wouldn't. Personally.
No, I mean, I don't
give
care.
it to your kids or something because it's an investment at the end of the day too.
I don't ever have that personal attachment to it, but I know one guy. He is a bit of a fiend, and like he will search himself up on eBay, and if a print or an original work is up there, he finds out who he sold it to, and he just like blacklists them. And then he goes on a massive rant saying, this guy sucks, this is part of the problem, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, let go. You already sold it. It's not yours anymore.
Yeah, it's not. That's the thing though. But there's, what's his name as well? The one person I've always wanted to original from. Do you know Benjamin Lucas? Lucas, his name is.
No.
He's a tattoo artist. He's one of probably Australia's most successful tattoo artists. He owns skulls. He owns skulls.
Right.
But his skulls and your skulls
Different.
See, I thought you would have known him because there's a similarity but big difference in your skulls.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
Like I said, I'm still new to the skull thing.
Oh, dude, he I'm pretty sure he does very like dark BDSM shit too.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's not in my wheelhouse.
That's how he started. And I remember he did like a full instructional one day on of 2 hours on how to tattoo a gag bowl.
Whoa.
He's like Benjamin Lucas. He's fucking phenomenal, dude.
Where's he from?
He's from Australia, but he's currently in Athens. He lives in Athens.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
But his paintings are just so nice.
Yeah, wild. That's cool.
Just dope.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But yeah, he was known. His style's changed a lot, but he was known for his skulls.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I dig that. And that's another thing with tattoos. You become a tattoo collector. That term's cheesy, but...
Well, my favourite pieces of art that I've seen are all from tattooists. Because tattooists, like when you bridge the gap and you are not just scratching people and you fucking really hone into becoming an artist.
Yeah.
Tattooists are fucking talented, man.
See, I'm heaps into traditional Japanese tattoo, but I also kind of Oriental type tattoos, I guess, like this kind of new form of tribal, I don't know. But this sort of stuff I'm really unfamiliar with. I
just like his color palettes. I like his reds.
Yeah, that's cool.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I wouldn't personally hang that in my house.
No, but you can appreciate it.
But just because that's a bit too full on for me. But
dude, and another this style,
I like the horror style.
Yeah. Well, in this sort of style, in the realism, I think you got to give props to Morris, dude.
Morris is great.
Dude, he's incredible, man.
Morris is probably, I will say, hands down, the most slept on mural artist in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know why? Because he doesn't give a fuck. He just wants to grind.
It's like a side hustle
it's his
thing,
job. It's just how he makes coin.
But his tattoos are insane.
He's great, and he just pumps them out, man. He just doesn't care about the social media game. Quiet dude.
As hell, man. Yeah.
But I'm so happy that I'll save my arms till last.
Yep. Can I have a look, by the way?
You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't. I've seen photos.
It's a bit dusty because I haven't shaved.
Dude, that's healed up real good.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm getting my left arm done in Japanese, by Stu. I want my but I never used to like Japanese,
dude,
traditional
I love it.
Japanese tattoos.
Yeah, and Stu's the best for it, dude.
Stu is the best.
Because he's got his own unique style on it too, yeah.
And his little split heads thing he's doing now, have you seen it?
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah, he's wild. He's good. And again, for me, I'm really not familiar with this stuff, so it's cool. The artists that I love are all European. They're all completely different. And it's more of an oil traditional oil painting sort of style. So when I see this, I'm like, whoa, this is so fresh to me because I'm not exposed to it often.
Yeah, Benjamin's phenomenal, man. He just does some really, really cool shit.
So who would you say top 5 or top 3 tattoo artists are then?
In Australia?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's so hard, man. I honestly think Jaden Pengilly, the guy who did my arms, probably. It depends on your style. Realism wise, there's no one Jaden's probably just. He's top tier.
Gotcha.
Realism. Yeah. But then if you want to go Japanese, you got Stu. In Adelaide, I'm talking. And then if you want cartoon anime style, the other guy who tattooed my arm, Troy Slack.
Yeah.
He's a freak.
Yeah.
He just walks into fucking tattoo expos and they just give him the award at this point.
So that was that sleeve was pumped out straight away, right?
This is a collab. Yeah, I did this over 2 days.
And did they do it? They both tatting at the same time?
Yeah.
You monster.
It wasn't too bad. The actual next day was terrible.
Right.
But this is Jaden.
Oh, get out, dude. Look at that.
Yeah, this is Jaden's work.
That's insane.
Shout out to Jaden. He without a doubt, is one of the most talented tattoo artists in the world, let alone just...
Yeah. It's crazy.
Just tells stories really well.
It's crazy that's a tattoo, dude.
Did you see the video of the tattoo I did?
No. No.
Dude. I'll show you right now. Alright, this is when I realised how hard tattooing is, because I've been tattooed more than most people alive. I have a lot of tattoos.
Yeah.
And I've been around the culture a lot. I've worked in a tattoo parlor.
Yeah.
Like, I got neat as fuck handwriting. Like,
yep.
It's so different. This is the give. Have you seen the giveaway?
Yeah. You're saying, like, how hard can it be, right?
But then at the end, I did it.
Oh, is it in this video?
Yeah, it's right at the end. I'll fast forward it. I was really proud of this video.
Wait, massive giveaway, by the way. What the heck?
Yeah, Beltons. Here, wait up.
That's good.
I got a... Where is it? How do I fast forward this? Oh, fucking...
You can't. Cheers. Right, I didn't see this part.
I made this video, by the way. It's very funny.
Sick. Were you tatting that?
Yeah.
Get lost. On an actual person? This is wild. Who the hell gave you...
It's fucking loves the pod, dude.
How good? Oh, an actual pod tat. How good? Here it is. Yes.
Do you know how fucking hard that was?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Have you ever tattooed anyone?
No, I haven't. But
dude,
like, everyone said you should get into tattooing. It's
no
don't way.
Do it. It makes you appreciate it so much, because you don't hold it like a pen.
No,
you have to hold it like it has to be straight down.
Yeah.
You're not. You don't just go across for a line.
No.
You always kind of want to pull down.
Right. Yeah.
You can't go too deep. Can't go too shallow.
Yep. It's insane, dude.
It's fucking wild.
It's so difficult, and there's nothing in me that's interested in doing it, dude. So how long did that take?
That took me 30 minutes. That took me 30. I had a couple of beers beforehand. But I am organising. If there's 10, there actually is 10 people, about 20 people, 30 people inbox me. I'm going to be doing a flash day.
Yeah, and you're doing it.
I'm going to be slinging the tattoo. So, if anyone wants a Sesh with Sap tattoo,
so good. Yes,
for $100,
let's go.
I'll fucking slap a sticker on it.
That's so good. I mean, it's little wonder like a proper apprenticeship takes years, right?
Bro. And tattooing's one of those things I feel like you really need a natural knack for it.
Totally,
Or like you can grind.
Yeah.
But there's heaps of tattooers that aren't artistic.
Yeah,
They're just very good at tattooing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a totally different sport.
But when they kind of figure out their own style and just like that stuff you were showing before, nuts.
It's like, how do you tattoo that on someone? But you get one go.
Yeah.
It's not like, gotta start again.
That's my biggest thing is like I live off mistakes, dude. I'm always making mistakes, but with paint you can just paint over it and just start again. With these guys, there ain't no going back, and for sure 100% I would fuck it up straight away.
Oh, 1,000,000%, dude. But yeah, fucking, it's a lot harder. But yeah, that's getting drawn on Friday. It's like $700 worth of shit in there.
Wow.
30 cans of Beltons.
That's massive, man.
Heaps of nibs.
Yeah.
Like some different nibs, some hell good ones.
Yeah.
Then there's a $250 tattoo voucher.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So good.
It's got like 1,100 comments or 1,200 comments at the moment.
Keep it going, man. Like, I mean,
good.
it makes sense. Like, that's a huge giveaway, dude.
So me and Jack Fran are giving away the painting.
Imagine that,
dude. I'd fucking rig it.
Well, here's the thing. Like I was saying, like if those other pieces sell, I'll just give it to you,
bro. Oh, don't say it. It makes my hands sweaty. I'm looking at buying up a new house. I'm looking at because I'm looking at buying a new house.
Wait, still in the burb? Still in Morpher Vale?
Deeper south.
Oh,
farm.
Oh, like Aldinga,
I'll go as far as
Willunga.
my Ponga.
My Ponga.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's wild. That's
my
wild.
Ponga, but I also, if I wait a year and I save up enough, I can start looking around Harndorf area as well.
Yeah.
Which isn't south, but it's still south of Adelaide to me.
Yeah.
I just want it. Well, I've always wanted like 10 to 20 acres of land.
Yeah. Well, my father-in-law lives down in Counter Bay. Oh, dude. And he's always looking at land. He's looking at land. He's like, his same sort of things. Like, check this out. And then he shows me the price. I'm like, what?
Yeah, bro.
How?
Yeah. Well, I've always wanted land, but then if I did cop that painting, I would have to buy a house purely because it's a bit too nice. It's a bit too nice. I already have the wall. I've got a vision of the wall. It needs a really big fucking wall.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Like, it does
It needs a big
eliminate a lot of people.
double brick wall.
Yeah. Like, the scale of it does kind of eliminate a lot of people. Like,
We'll look. I'm looking, and then eventually, if I do move that way, I have been looking at sourcing a warehouse for the podcast,
nice. Yeah.
but as a business venture,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
because I would like to have a creative space for Southern creatives, because there's
sick.
none.
Yep.
So it'd be nice to have somewhere with like 2 podcast studios, a recording studio,
Wow, that's
and
dope.
like a fucking green screen wall, like a
Dude,
massive green
It'd
screen.
be the sesh every day.
Yeah, well, and then it's just like if say someone like you wants to do a massive like fucking 4x4 meter canvas and you want to make a fucking mess, it'd be nice to have a whole sheeted area for artists just to fucking fling paint around.
Totally. Yeah, definitely.
It just, but I don't know how to monetize. I don't know how to do it. I need to really look into it.
Yeah.
I need
Dude,
investors. I need people to go in with.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, man.
There's nothing like that in Adelaide. People
Yeah.
have tried to do it. There's a podcast studio in fucking the like central Adelaide, and it's fucking terrible. It's gay. Like, it's just gay. It's just like everyone has the same podcast look.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah, of
shit.
course, yeah.
It's just they're all talking about Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
There's a whole fucking there's a whole podcast
On
comes
Days
out of
of Our
there,
Lives,
and it's all about neighbours or some shit.
It's interesting, like, in the potosphere, how, you know, the concept of, like, anyone can do it, and then say everyone does, but, like, a lot of people just should not be given a mic because they end up just doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's either that, it's the fucking just stupid, or it's just trying to copy someone else, or it's just fucking
Yeah.
like trying to navigate your content in a space where you think it's going to be viral.
Totally, yeah,
and
yeah.
just being fake.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it's fake, man.
It's all bullshit.
All these streamers and stuff, they set up things. Like, it's all fake.
It's
yeah.
just fuck. That's why I never not be myself. Because
Totally.
the worst thing that can happen is the podcast is successful on me not being myself, and then you have to fucking
play that role.
Imagine
Exactly.
you by one chance one day paint a picture of a fucking dolphin, the most boring fucking picture you've ever painted,
And then I become the dolphin
and
guy.
then you're the dolphin guy. That's what hits. You'd be fucking devil.
So devo. What's funny is there are a lot of artists that do that. Well,
Yeah.
not dolphins, but
But they'd hate what they do.
there's that one thing, and then everyone wants that, and then they're not allowed to experiment or do something different.
That's why a lot of people fizzle out as well, because you lose love for it.
Totally.
It's like fucking The Rock. He's just The Rock now.
just The
like,
Rock.
he can't be happy.
Nah.
Like, you can't be happy.
But that's why he's sweating in the gym to just, like, take all that anger out on
so
himself.
fucking mad. It's like, just...
And does he actually think he's natural too?
Yeah,
That's
he does.
wild.
Yeah.
He's not natty at all.
He does. He thinks he's 100% natural.
Do the blood work, man.
Just give me 1 sec. I'm just going to go get myself a ginger ale,
No worries.
because that's actually really nice.
Yeah, I'm a whiskey drinker, so I don't really mix. But if I were to mix, that looks pretty cool. Strange Love.
I've got a hot ginger beer.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Its temperature is hot, or is it like chili hot?
No, it's like, I think it must be like chili hot.
Oh shit! Nah, I don't deal with that. What about, like, do you get around chili chocolate and that sort of deal?
I did a video.
Because you're a food connoisseur.
I did a video of Adelaide's hottest wings.
Oh,
it's
right.
on YouTube. It's very funny.
Gotcha.
That was the worst fucking night of my life. I almost called the ambulance.
Really, that bad?
I did the challenge fine. I fucking did it before everyone. I had 20 minutes to eat like 6 wings.
Right, you smashed it. And
Smashed it. And then it was terrible. It was very fucking hot.
Sure.
But then I
bleed from the inside. Or something.
I went home, dude, and I remember the guy saying, he's like, don't worry about now. It's like
Right.
after's the problem.
Oh, it's the next day when it goes
Nah, it's
through you.
shitting. Like, shitting is the problem. And I was like, nah, it can't be that bad.
Oh, and it is.
Bro, it felt like, I am not joking, it felt like I got a train run by me by 10 black dudes. And then, and like,
absolutely right.
I just couldn't do it. And it was like,
wow,
hurt that bad. I was crying in the toilet. It was like 3 a.m. bawling my eyes out. And I was just like, this is not it.
That is wild.
It was fucked. And I was like, I need to call the ambulance.
Holy
and my missus
shit.
at the time was like, you don't need to call the ambulance. So I was like,
I fucking do.
I do. Like, I'm bleeding internally.
Whoa.
It was fucked.
So you went to the hospital?
No. That's my first
hectic.
reaction to anything whenever any inconvenience happens to me. I need to call the ambulance.
Yeah,
I greened out for the first time. I believe it was like 6 years ago.
You thought you were going to die?
I've never whited out. I'm not a massive weed smoker.
Sure.
Like, I've always been more of a stimulant kind of guy.
Uppers, yep.
Yeah, but like, I was smoking a fair bit of weed at the time. Got blackout drunk one night. Came home. Packed a bong from high heaven. Like,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Smashed it, and I just remember immediately just going white.
Oh gosh.
And it never happened to me before. And I was like crawling on the floor. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I was like trying to vomit. I was trying to make myself vomit, but I couldn't. I was like,
yeah.
And I was like, you need to call the ambulance. I'm dying. I'm going to have a heart attack.
Like, drugs and I do not mix, dude. Like, I've had plenty of green out stories. Like, I think
really
majority of the times I've smoked have greened out. I remember specifically when I was in year 8 or year 9, went to a party, and I was already drunk, but some randoms came and like, you know, have a trip of this. And like, sure. And I specifically remember having a toke of this pipe, and like, it was like a movie, just like dropped and just blacked out. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And like, mates were like, oh, it's probably laced with something. Like, Jesus, what? Like, who knows, man? Who knows?
Have you been ever like a hallucinogen kind of guy?
Yeah, I've done a lot of trips, acid and that sort of deal. And I think because I did it so like early on, so young, like it scared the living daylights out of me, dude.
That hasn't like attributed to any of your painting or helped with any of your painting?
Nah, dude, I've tried painting high too. It doesn't work. I can't focus, man.
Have you seen that video of that dude that painted himself every single day on the different drugs?
Yeah. It's kind of...
It's sad.
It's, yeah. What's interesting is like, obviously when he's sober, it's a lot more realistic, but then like the more tripped out he gets, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
But like, I've seen some things, man. I've seen some things. I'm not keen to get back into that realm. Although I think maybe mushrooms are probably a good thing, right? I think
mushrooms would probably be the best one for art, maybe.
Yeah.
Depends what your flavour is, because alcohol is probably like the best one for creatives. Every good creative back in the day is a fucking alcoholic.
I don't really... I think I don't often do live painting now, but when I do, I'm already drunk, and so it just turns to shit. And I don't know. I just need to focus. I think
So you're not much of a drinker or anything when you're painting. You're like, you paint best clear-headed.
Yeah.
It's weird because like you get like Hunter S. Thompsons and shit
Yeah.
that would just fucking fuck themselves
guy
up.
was like only high, drunk at all the rest of it, and that's when his best stuff came, I guess.
I guess you could say I do my best work when I'm drunk.
Well, I mean, can you? I just can't focus. Like, I think, especially drunk, all like sort of inhibitions are gone, and I don't care about anything.
I'm naturally very fucking shy.
Right, gotcha. So that kind of
I'm naturally a pretty shy person.
Right.
Like, I'm very different when I'm sober.
Right.
Or even when I'm like dead sober and I don't know you, I don't really talk to you. I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Really? But like the alcohol just kind of...
Yeah, and alcohol runs big in my family.
Right.
Like, that's the drug of choice in my family.
Does it take much for you to get drunk, or...
Yeah. Like, to get... yeah. To
get 10 beers.
Honestly, yeah, about 10. But... going from drunk to really fucking drunk is not that far.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, gotcha.
It takes me a while.
Yeah.
But then if I'm drinking beers, I can drink all day.
Yeah.
But then if I drink browns,
Yeah, right.
That's when I get too loose.
I think if I mix anything into the mix, I'm gone. Especially red wine.
You're not a heaps big drinker anymore, are you?
Not anymore. Nah. Like I used to drink like every day. I used to live next to a bottle and be picking up bottles of wine every day.
See, I've never been. See, wine's a weird one because it's like acceptable to drink every day.
Yeah.
Like if you go drink 12 beers every day, you're a fucking alcoholic. Yeah. But if you drink like a bottle of wine, you're like, oh, he's cultured.
He's cultured, especially in South Australia, dude.
Yeah, I've never been like a weekday drinker really.
Yeah,
like I have to have an excuse. I'm not even a solo drinker. I'll never drink a beer after work.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have a beer after work every now and then, but like definitely not, because I definitely drink like stronger beers too, like Pirate Life. You get 6, 7, 10, 11, 12% beers, and like all of a sudden, just one beer. And you're off with the fairies, mate.
There's actually one beer called Venom. I think it's a Venom shot, and it's like 68%.
Well, Pirate Life have this ISO beer, right? So what they do is they freeze I think it's a triple IPA. They freeze it, extract the ice water out of it, and so it's just fucking syrup. And I think it's like for a little can of 250 mils, maybe less, it's like 23%.
You're joking.
Nah, dude.
You're joking.
Nah.
Is that available to buy?
Yeah, well, they only did short runs of it. And they say on the can, like, we strongly advise you share this with a mate. But a mate of mine, we went through a few in one night.
Oh, man. There's these things you can buy called wild boars. I think they're called wild boars.
Right.
They're like fucking 18%. And they're just, it's bourbon or rum. It's one of those fucking things. And it's like, it's not even fizzy. It's
it's like syrup.
It's just rum or whatever it is with like the essence of cola.
Yeah, gotcha.
We were going to the Woodcroft Tavern one day and I was dead sober and my mate was hammered and he's like, I got a 4-pack of these. And I was like, what are they? And he's like, just don't ask, you just got to fucking like skull one.
Just go
and
on,
I was like, okay.
Right.
So I just fucking grabbed one and skull one, and that was the night I greened out.
Oh, there you go. So it wasn't the green, it was the alcohol.
It was definitely the alcohol before that
I remember. So Pirate Life also have these like breakfast stouts. It's like an oat milk stout or something, but
so
it's
heavy
as shit, right? And so I remember one morning, Sunday morning, there's like a UFC, it must have been like Dubai or something, a UAE, and so the UFC was in the morning, so I went over to a mate's house and brought like a 4-pack of those, and I was like, it's just a breakfast stout, right? This is the morning, let's get on it. And so like come 10 a.m. and they're all done. All absolutely done. It's something interesting about, because a lot of people aren't used to those heavy, like, concentrated alcohol beers. Like, they just drink it like it's a normal beer, but...
That's what happens to me.
Yeah, it's not a normal beer.
No, they fucking get me. Did you watch the UFC on the weekend?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, Leon got bashed.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of... I kind of saw it coming, though.
I didn't think he would get fucking handled. I thought Brady was going to win, but like he
not like that.
Fucking bashed him.
I don't know.
I don't know why Leon would fucking shoot on him either.
Yeah,
He's a fucking idiot.
I know. I was like, come on, man. But like, there's something weird in the UFC where all these champions are dying. We've got like a whole new...
It's a change of the guard, unfortunately.
It is. And it's like, you kind of like follow a fighter, you fall in love with a fighter and they just get cooked. Like, God forbid Volk lose this next fight. I am done.
Oh, dude, don't. I was actually messaging someone like just before you arrived and I was saying how like, if Volk loses, I'm so done with MMA.
Man.
And there is a 60% chance he's losing that fight.
Like Diego Lopez is actually really good.
Diego Lopez is extremely good.
And like, especially the size thing, like, has worked to Volk's advantage. But like, I don't know, man. I just do not want to see that fight not go into his advantage. You know?
I got this MMA chat, and now that you've said that, it's triggered me because this is
coming in.
This is my favorite. I've been saying this for years. Like, we need to respect our fighters, because all of our favourite fighters are going to retire within the next 2 years.
Yeah, of course.
All of their reigns are going to come to an end.
Yeah, it's
going to be gone.
Yeah.
And Luke Thomas, who's a MMA journalist, he made a fantastic video of it.
Well, yeah, it's kind of hard to watch, man. Like, and Izzy's like, where's Izzy now?
Izzy's kind of in the.
Like,
he's never going to get a title again. He's got 2 good fights left in him.
And
the Whitakers are going to retire.
Yeah.
The Oliveras are going to retire.
Poirier's almost done.
Poirier's done. Like, it's fucking sad.
It is sad. And then to like, like I was a big T-Ferg fan too, and him.
He's going to fucking GFL.
Oh my god!
He's going to get knocked
also,
out.
fuck that shit too, right?
Oh, dude, it's so fucked. I didn't realize how embedded in MMA you actually are.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because you said because when we first did the pod, I think you were describing yourself as a casual.
Yeah, well, I mean the common trope in the culture is like everyone's a casual. If you don't know.
Well, you watch every card.
Yeah, I do. Of course. Like,
I just got to make sure that
doesn't everyone?
We've got to make sure this isn't coming up on the screen because we talk a lot of shit about a lot of people. We talk a lot of shit about
how good's talking shit though? Love it.
Yeah, this is one of the greatest group chats of all time that's ever existed.
Well, I was going to talk about Della. Was he? He's got this one coming up, right? Jack Della.
Yeah, Jack Della's fighting Bilal Muhammad.
He's like the new Aussie king, I think, right?
Jack Della's very special.
Does
he beat Bilal? I don't know, but he's got a good chance.
I actually don't really rate Bilal. I don't.
No one does. He's terrible. He's a terrible fighter.
But you watched him in that last fight. I'm like, oh, actually, he read Leon like a card,
I'm going real deep in this group chat right
now.
Go
deeper. Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. Uncle Ive, that was a weird fight too.
Oh, don't get me started.
Nah.
Pereira's my favourite fighter. I'm getting him tattooed on the inside of my arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting him. You know the Crash Bandicoot mask?
Yep.
The booger thingy.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm getting him realistic, and then Troy's gonna do the Ooga Booga mask coming off of his face.
Oh, sick.
But with his face paint.
Yeah,
on the mask.
That's cool.
Like a cartoon.
That's real cool.
And then I'm going to break it up like in comic book style. So it's going to have comic book sectioning, and I'm going to have Bruce Buffer saying "It's time" with an "It's time" speech bubble.
Is that on this arm?
On
like
the inside.
Nice,
Nice,
dude. Nice.
I just got to find... Oh, dude, getting tattooed is fucked when you're older.
Oh, it hurts, eh?
Oh, it just sucks.
My last one was actually pretty painless. I was surprised. I got the inside of my leg. I mean,
inside's pretty good.
Yeah, I was like surprised because I had my shin done and that fucking killed. But shout out Matt Collins, incredible, just an absolute master, and I didn't feel a thing.
Matt Collins?
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah.
What did you get on it?
I've got this. So there's this band called the Circle Jerks, and their logo is like a guy kind of like dancing.
Yeah.
And he's done like a traditional Japanese frog doing that stance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of two worlds.
That's mad.
Here we go. What's that? Vulcan.
Oh, we're
logo.
close. We're close. I don't know how to search on the computer because on my phone I can search for things.
Oh, right. Gotcha. But not on the computer. Man, you guys do talk a lot of shit.
Dude, this is nothing.
What's interesting in my world is like my best mates are not into UFC.
All of mine are.
Right?
All of mine.
So like I've got really weird pockets of friendships that like just somehow you're like my brother-in-law or like my one of my favorite mates is the boyfriend of a parent of the school that one of my sons went to. His best mate's stepdad or something like that, and it's just like so we have nothing else in common except for UFC.
I couldn't imagine not having a friend group that was all UFC heads.
Dude, my mates just are not into it at all.
Oh my god, I'm never going to find this. I thought it was way closer. I actually searched it up the other day. Here, wait, I'll search it on my phone because I can... What the hell? There we go. I'll search it up on my phone because it's such a good video. It gives me goosebumps.
About Volk? Or just
it's about just the state of the UFC at the moment.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, it's weird. It's I haven't really loved a lot of fights lately.
You haven't?
No, I can't. I'm trying to think of a fight that I was like, wow. I guess it's just up and comers, I guess, because you got to follow some new heads, I guess, because the old ones are dying. But also the cards are a bit meh. Like that one in Sydney was a bit...
There hasn't been... No, the Sydney card was shit.
Yeah. It's a kind of weird thing where Like the Gaethje Dan Hooker one would have been incredible. Like, I love both of those guys, and that would have been an absolute war. But like, Dan got injured, and so it just didn't happen. And then old mate stepped up, and it was boring. You know?
I literally just found it.
Here we go.
Literally, this is the next one. This one here. This is such a good video. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. It's so true. Yeah.
Dude.
Doesn't
it give you goosebumps?
I get it. Yeah.
Doesn't it give you goosebumps?
Yeah. We live in such a time, dude.
We're living in the greatest era of MMA fighters of all time.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
The greatest ones.
It's true. It's such a valid point.
There is none better. There is no better era of fighters that is better than this group of
that makes me
lightweights.
sad, dude.
Yeah, dude. If you wanted to be sad, that'll make you sad.
It's true, because I do watch old fights every now and then, and like that kind of Chuck Liddell era wasn't as exciting as like it is now.
Well, it's just the level of talent's better.
Yeah,
and like it's for them to like he said, like everyone's trying to knock them off and they just can't. They're just in the top 5.
That's it.
They're just the top 5.
And it's only old age that's getting them out of it.
And it's like that division had prime Connor in it. It had then you had Connor was run at lightweight, and then you had him versus Max Holloway and all that stuff at light. It's just it's an insane lineage.
Different thing.
It's just different.
What's gonna happen though? Yeah, it's sad.
If I feel like for me, if Volk gets, which I hope he doesn't, because he's my favourite fighter of all
he's
time.
The best, man. I love him.
If Volk goes out and proves the world wrong, he needs to retire.
He needs to just finish on a win and a good win.
Just
and
fight,
that's it.
or just fight one more time, hopefully get the win, and then retire as the greatest featherweight that's ever done it.
That's it.
And then, fucking, if he loses, then it's like, all of our favourite fighters are fucking
done.
almost,
They're
they're coming, their times are coming.
That's it, yeah. And I guess it's the thing, like, and Izzy said it before, like, it's so easy to be that, like, in the 5, like, you are chasing the title, like, you're the hunter, but, like, when you're the champ, you're the hunted.
It'd be fucking exhausting, man.
So exhausting. Like, Izzy's roster was full, dude. Not many people give him props for that, but, like, he was busy. As a champ, he was busy. Nowadays, you got Ilya just like, he's
a fucking cock.
Guy.
He's a cock of a human being. He's a fucking...
I'm glad we agree on that.
He's such a cock of a human. I don't know if it's... He's very good, but it's probably because he fucking done dirty to my boy Volk.
Yeah, I know. Especially after that.
I just don't like his... I don't like how... I think now... If you win a title, I really feel like you should have to defend it 3 times.
Oh, defend it, dude. None of this times. Like double belt straight away.
Nah, 3 times. You should defend it.
Defend it. Absolutely.
Defend it 3 times, and then you get eligible to move up.
It's funny, like what.
If you can't make the weight, why the fuck were you in that division?
Exactly, man. Like when Sugar won his belt. Straight away, he was like, I'm going up a division.
No, you're not.
No, you're fucking not, dude.
Stay there. You fought no one.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, but it's fun because now, like, the light heavyweight division is fun. Yeah. The only shit division really is heavyweight, and that's because Aspinall and Jones might not happen, but they might.
Oh, dude, what the heck? I think, like, Tom's great with trolling with the duck.
Jones is my favourite, like, number. To me, Jones is pound for pound number 1 greatest of all time.
He wants the time to work out the proper money, or is it he's just avoiding it?
No. So what he said, I'll do the fight, but I want 6 months, a 6-month camp.
Yeah.
That's a bluff. That's such a bluff because John Jones is the smartest fighter of all time.
Totally.
John Jones knows that having a 6-month camp is not viable.
Totally.
It's not good for you.
No,
like,
no,
if
no.
you have a 6-month camp, it's actually to your detriment.
Oh, of course.
Because your body's going to break down.
Yeah.
You're going
Which
to lose focus.
Tom probably would.
No, Jones will. 'Cause,
Ah.
having a 6-month camp is not beneficial to anyone because his body's going to break down. You can't sustain 6 months of hard training. John Jones loves to go out and drink, so he's going to go out one night and fuck his whole camp up.
Yep.
Like, Jones is doing that because I guarantee in the boardroom meetings, he's like, I'll do it quicker if you give me more money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
I want 6 months. But if you give me an extra $2 million,
Yeah.
I'll do it in 3.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Gotcha.
He's doing
man,
that.
The amount of money that UFC are actually making, fucking let them off out of your wallet.
Every single month, John Jones doesn't fight Tom Aspinall.
Yep.
Is to his detriment.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he's getting fucking older.
Oh,
he's
for
getting
sure.
he's getting
For sure.
older, and
Yeah.
Tom is just getting better.
Yeah.
Tom's
Well-
at the age where every day he's getting better.
Oh,
Jones isn't getting better. He's getting older.
100%. I love John just as much as the next guy, but I think Tom's got that fight.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so rude.
Well, like, look at the way that Tom actually analyzes him too. He's like, oh, he does this, and if he does this, it's chess, dude. It's chess.
I really got money on Jones that fight.
So, okay, say if Jones wins, he is the GOAT, and then he probably retires. It's smart to retire, especially if he had 30 mil. Take it and run.
I reckon just give John fucking 15 million for that fight and let him retire.
Yeah.
Just give him 15. He'll say yes to 15.
But if he loses, then what?
He's still the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
He's just not the cherry.
That's what
he doesn't get the cherry. He has the cake. He just doesn't get the cherry on it.
If Volk wins, he has to out. That's it. I'm done.
And then then you can question it like, oh, he could have won 10 more fights. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's right. Yeah.
There's the question of it.
But like my only saving grace with Volk is like that T-City. What's his name? Brian Ortega. That fight where he just like somehow did not get choked out. I'm like, okay, Volk is like, he's something else, right?
Yeah.
And if for whatever reason he gets back in that situation, you know he's going to come out of it.
I actually have this. Don't say what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm working on this for
Oh.
June. I made this.
Is that the fight date?
Yeah. Oh, that's for the alleged fight date.
Okay, gotcha.
But
I am there.
Yeah. How good? How good will that be?
Oh, very good.
Yeah. That's gonna be a fun little thing.
I love that.
It's gonna be fun if it happens.
And even funner if he wins.
Oh, dude. If I would want nothing more than to see John Jones walk out undefeated.
Yeah.
I would love nothing more than to just see him be like, I'm done. I've bashed everyone.
Yeah.
I am the greatest fighter
Yeah.
of any sport of all time.
Because also, like, if Tom wins, it doesn't actually count him to be the GOAT either.
No, you can't. Tom Aspinall easily will become the greatest heavyweight of all time. Heavyweight.
It's kind of like when Izzy beat Silver.
Yeah, it's like you can't. That's just such a gimme fight,
right?
But if Tom, it depends. If Tom beats it, there is very massive merit in it because John Jones is still the best.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone now is just fighting for who's the best of their division. No one ever will be that. John Jones is the greatest fighter.
I feel like this pound for pound thing is so like loaded. I don't think it's
It's all bullshit.
Yeah,
but John Jones, without a doubt, even if he loses his next 4 fights, is the greatest fighter that's ever lived.
It's crazy running it back and going through his like first.
It's fucking insane.
It's insane. He was on like so much more advanced than everyone else.
He's crazy. And even if he was on PEDs, everyone was.
Oh, of course.
Everyone was on steroids. So who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I think we should have a complete juiced out division.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Give some fighters some longevity.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's going on in the graffiti mural world? Any goss?
Oh, there's lots of goss, man. I mean, I can talk shit till the cows come home, but what do you want to know?
Who's been pissing you off?
All of them, I think. All of them. You know, I think in this country especially, there's probably only one artist that I really fuck with, and everyone else can get fucked.
The mural artist wise, or
yeah.
Because you speak very highly of graffiti artists.
Yeah.
I've actually never heard you say anything bad about any graffers. You actually seem to get along very well with a lot of graffers.
There's nothing bad to say about them, unless they're like absolute cookers. And there's some that are just like on the ice barbecue and go out and paint. Fuck that sort of life, but. Writers are the best, dude.
Yeah. What is it with mural? Because I've never met two. I've obviously met mural artists that get along with other mural artists, but it does seem like a very bitchy fucking community, the mural art world. Which is weird because it's all legal walls.
yeah, exactly. It's a completely different culture. I think
there's money involved.
Like I've painted in festivals, and like all the top artists are like absolute rock stars. You know, kids are signing their shit and stuff. Like they're getting like signatures and stuff, and like. They're treated like rock stars, and so I think the goal is to be a rock star, right? And so it's like whatever it takes to be a rock star, I'll do. And like a lot of them do the shittiest things behind people's backs, and just like whatever. Like I'm motivated and I'm like passionate about my work, but like I'm not gonna like stab someone in the back for it, you know. And so there's a lot of that. But also in the mural world, I think. In Australia, it's kind of like plateaued. I think it's dead. It's been dead for the last few years, and the biggest reason is because they're legal walls. You're having these like non-creative people, either building property owners or like council, like dictating on what you can and can't paint. So it's very heavily censored, and that's why a lot of the shit out there sucks because you're not actually allowed to have your own voice, right? I've been saying it for years that the mural thing's dead, and like even for me, like I'll do ones for money, but like I've never painted a wall that I'm really happy with, and it's because there's always someone in the background saying, no, you can't do that, you have to do this and this and this. So for me, it's like fuck that. But you know, there's always a lot of beef in the behind the scenes, like when you hear stories of like, oh, this person did this, slept with this person to get to this position, that sort of deal, like. It's just like every other industry, man. It's like
so you're just mad because you couldn't fuck anyone to get to the top.
No, I think my years of being bitter and twisted about it are over. Like, yeah. Like I've had peace with it. I'm like, see you later. I'm doing my own thing.
He's fucking batshit crazy. But do you know who one of my favourite people is that I've met through this whole journey of delving into the graffiti world?
Who's that?
Mr. Stoops.
Oh, dude.
Stoops is the most fucking retarded human being I've ever met, but in the best way.
He is the best guy ever.
The best way, Stoops is so lovely. And we're very in sync. Our humour's very similar. Yeah. But he is just one of the fucking most out there people. And I remember when I'd never heard of Stoops. Yeah. And then I'd done the podcast with Adam from Westside Mushies. Yeah. And he's like, I've got to introduce you to my mate. Yeah. He's listened to your pod. And I was like, you got to get him on the pod. And I was like, what's his name? He's like, his name's Stoops, but you have to know a few things about him before you meet him. And I was like, it can't be that bad. And he's like, he's a bit of a he's an eccentric character. And I met him, and then I'd like had a grapher. I think I had Jay Tuski on before I had Stoops on.
Yeah, and they had beef.
They just clash because they're polar opposites.
Yeah, exactly.
They're very creative and very beautiful people, but they're very different in their opinions.
Yeah.
And I had Jay, and he's like, he fucking shits me to tears. But he's a very good human being.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've got all the time in the world for Stoops. He's like by far one of the greatest characters I'll ever know, dude. He can like more than spin a yarn. He can just like he'll just like go on recite a whole encyclopedia and just like random things that I don't even know about.
He's fucking great, dude. And have you seen his furniture?
I'm going to buy a piece. I want to buy the Lando.
Dude,
it's so good.
His furniture...
It's so good.
His furniture is like... It's funny because you see, for anyone who doesn't know Stoops' background, it's fucking graffiti, obviously. But his graffiti style is so synonymous with his... it's so flowy.
It's like hand in hand, yeah.
But it's so flowy.
Totally,
like, it's so weird. There's no sharp edges.
No. And especially when he's using like a material like wood to make wood.
Fuck?
Yeah, he's incredible.
So talented.
I had to buy a few
I was going to
pieces.
mention that. I was going to say when you said, "Oh, you're an interior designer." His style of furniture is wild.
Insane, yeah.
Just to furnish a whole house like that would be insane.
Totally. And it's hard, especially within
Bilby's, by the way. Bilby's Furniture. I don't know the exact name. In Hendon, Bilby's.
Yeah.
Some of the coolest shit you ever see.
It's in the furniture industry. It's so difficult because we get your IKEAs and your Kmarts or whatever. It's just like we don't appreciate good actual like works of art, which what he creates is works of art.
Yeah, he's not doing like fucking.
Nah.
He's doing some dope shit. I always said to him when eventually I do move the studio, if I ever move the studio, if the podcast becomes financially viable to a point I can spend 10 grand on it.
Yeah.
I really want him to build the fit out.
Oh, dude, it's so good. I'm definitely going to buy a Lando, the single seater.
Oh, it looks so comfy though too. Like
So
it's
good.
not just looks nice. It just looks like you'd melt into it.
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of people miss. It's like they just buy cheap stuff from IKEA, and so they don't care. It's just another thing. It's just another like we need this, so let's just get it.
Buying nice shit is just nice. Whatever anyone says, oh, you're materialistic, but no.
Nah.
Buying nice shit is just really fucking nice.
Yeah, and I think we've definitely lost that because of consumerism. Like even with fast fashion, right? You just buy like a cheap shirt from Kmart, chuck it out in like less than 6 months. But an actual like thick like GSM garment, heavy, that lasts forever. That's like completely different experience. It's the same with his furniture. Yes, you're just sitting down, but like you said, you melt into it.
So nice. I'm just going to pause this for 1 second. I'm just going to go get myself So there was we won't go too deep into this for reasons. But you mentioned to me that you've been part of some things in your life that I had no clue about.
Yeah.
And this was the whole focus, but then some other stuff happened and we can't really talk about a lot of it.
Sure.
So we won't get into it. But you've been, you grew up in cult, plural cults, cult.
Yeah.
You grew up in that kind of situation.
Yeah, I guess you can call it a cult or like a very heavy-handed, controlling church. Yeah, I grew up in it. I kind of was involved with 2 different cults. And like in the church world, they're very polar opposite, but I kind of found in the end they're doing the same things, which is like manipulate, control, and emotionally abuse people.
So the one that we'll go into.
Sure.
Your parents obviously were entered it.
Yeah.
Did they enter it at a young age?
No, I don't know exactly when they started going to it, but I had always been involved. Well, I'd always attended. I never really got involved until I was like mid-teen sort of thing. It's insane. It's funny now because like a lot of it I've forgotten, probably as a coping mechanism, but I've forgotten a lot of like how crazy shit was, right? Like they're so in their own little bubble. Like once you're out of it, you're just completely like mind blown. Like why the hell was I there for so long and put up with so much shit? But when you're in it, it's just like so normal, and you're like, they thrive off of like yes men, people that would just say yes to anything, right? And like for whatever reason, they like manipulate you into like a really passive aggressive person, or just a passive person that would just say yes to everything, and the shit you do is wild.
Yeah, right.
I mean, for example, like, and I think a lot of churches nowadays struggle with this is talking about sex, talking about porn, and because of that, there's a lot of shame and guilt in it, right? So a lot of dudes struggle with porn, right? Because they're so sexually repressed, they can't talk about it, right? And so it often leads dudes to go further down into that addiction and get worse and worse and worse, and then often they end up doing the craziest shit, right? But like I think a surefire way they thought will deal people, they call it fornicating. Rather than fornicate with like your girlfriend, just get married early, and so you'll be fine. So I got married at 20, And then had my son at 22 and was divorced by like 24.
Yeah, right. And when you first got married, you were still active in the cult.
Yeah.
Really? And
Yep.
so when did... Fuck, really?
Yeah.
No
And
shit.
I'm not the only one. Like, there's hundreds. Like, guarantee everyone I know from that era and in that time, they're either split
Can you
up.
say the name of one of it?
So the church I grew up in was called the Potter's House.
The Potter's House.
And so in the church world, it's like Pentecostal, it's evangelical, and it's like very strict. Like, it's very legalistic, right? And so if you're a ministry, which everyone was anyway, you have to like wear a suit. If you're a guy, you have to wear a suit. You have to be clean shaven. You have to like, there's all these certain rules. No booze, no TV. Like, it's so silly thinking about it now, but like back then thinking about it, it's like, oh yeah, we just don't do that sort of thing, right? So you're like, and they use like the Bible to like twist and like to their own advantage, to like, they twist it to control people. And so they would say, oh, we're in the world, but we're not of the world, so we don't do things. No, obviously no tattoos, no sex before marriage. So yeah, like I said, to deal with that, you just get married early.
That's fucking... So when did you start graffitiing?
So I would write graff as a kid, like early teens.
But that would have been considered very fucking naughty.
Yeah. I didn't become like a quote unquote Christian until I was like 15 or 16.
And then you jumped in.
Yeah, like head first.
What's the for someone who's never been a part of a cult? I've always wanted to start one, but I've never been a part of one.
Yeah.
What's the, like, are you fucking just not feeling like, what makes you get into it?
Well, I think the culture is very all-consuming, right? So the other church that I went to, like, they're big on culture. And so your entire life revolves around it. You've got these friends that are in these, like, circles. Like, every day, literally every day, you're doing something with them. So it's about, like, you know, they would say it's
Community.
about building community, but it's more about, like, holding a tight leash on people.
And there's obviously, I imagine your parents would have had to pay funds towards the church.
Yeah, so, like, I mean... It varies. The first church that I went to were like a really unsuccessful church. Like the amount of attendance I'd have at the max would be like 50 people, whereas the other church that I went to would be at least 3,000 or 4,000 on a Sunday, right? And in those church circles, like they have this thing called the tithe, which is like 10%, and that is also like the benchmark. That's just the bare minimum. And so you're often encouraged to give like a lot more. And most people in those churches are broke and they're giving everything they have. And so they're even more broke. The other church I went to was a bit different. They had multiple like millionaires in there and they'd give donations as a tax write-off.
It's fucking... And then at what point do you realize, oh, I'm getting fucked over here?
I think I had a few different turning points. So the last church that I went to, like that my ex-wife, like she split, and so I was in like what they call ministry. Like there's a lot of Christian jargon, right? So I was in ministry. I was in the creative department. That's another thing. Like to kind of control that many thousands of people, they kind of like segregate it into different departments. And so I was in like the worship team in the creative department, and so because of this like separation, like they gave me a break, which meant I was kind of socially outcast from that sort of group. And so they put me in another department. This is how dumb it is. It's like they put me in another department called the young adults, and they were like, I was like 24 or 25, recently separated with a kid, and like the young adults group was like fresh out of, like still in uni, still living with their home. So I couldn't really socially relate to any of them because they were kids to me, right? So I went to the single adults department, which was filled of like losers that could never date anyone or recently single, divorced, like 40, 50-year-olds.
That's so dog.
And yeah, so I got stitched up with them, and I actually hooked up with one of them, and it was just like a mess. So to avoid her, I avoided the church, and I went to another mate's church, right? And so I went to another mate's church just to hang out with my mates, and then eventually they were kind of like, you know, you got to kind of commit, you know, sign here, you know, because there's an entry point. They don't sink their teeth into you straight away.
Groom you.
Well, really, there's grooming straight from the start, dude. As soon as you walk into one of these buildings, they know exactly who you are. They want all your details. They want you to come back, right? But in this church, they're kind of a bit more casual. But as soon as they kind of reason, you can call it a cult.
Have you seen, speaking of cult leaders, have you seen those pastors that recently got done with, they did like a pump and dump with crypto, like Jesus coin or whatever?
That's amazing.
And they got caught by the government,
right? Where like, was it here in America? Yeah, America. Yeah.
And they made like an apology video.
Oh, here we go.
But the apology video is so funny. It's of them like saying that God wanted them to renovate their house, like God.
Yeah. Oh, it's always that, dude. And like the bigger they get, the more kind of brazen they get, right? They're just like, literally, God told me that he's going to give me like a private jet, so you're going to get it for me.
That's exactly what I was about to say. What's his name? What's that guy's name? Kenneth Copeland.
Yeah, the guy with the weird eyes. Yeah.
Bro, if this. I'm just going to play a little clip from it. If this is not the most weird shit you've ever seen,
that's the one.
Bro.
That is the one.
This guy's fucking...
Yeah, it's wild.
I'm not in any facet a religious person.
Sure.
This is as close to a fucking demon as you can get.
Yeah.
I'm just going to turn the music off quickly just so I don't fucking fund this ad for people. Oh, wait, there you go. That's not an ad. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you bump elbows with these kind of people?
Not this guy, but like
these
similar,
these kind of people.
Yeah.
These people are worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah. And all tax free.
All tax free.
Yeah.
That's why shout out to the Orthodox Church. I don't believe in you that much, but at least you aren't fucking kids and like fucking.
That's right.
Launder. Oh, you're probably laundering a bit of money because we're Greek, but like
at least in a mafia side. Wait, not a weird religious.
There's no like weird heinous acts.
If I was to go back to a church, it'd be an Orthodox, dude. They're cool. But this stuff. So the other church that I went to kind of like was the Adelaide version of that, and like aspired to be that sort of thing, and so they like moved to America trying to do that thing, and it's just not working.
Is that what that Edge Church is? Is that one of those?
Yeah, it is.
Is Edge Church like a?
Yeah, it's in the same sort of category. Yeah, but they were kind of like the south, and we were kind of like northeast and city sort of thing. But yeah, the same sort of thing, the same jargon.
So when my dad fled Cyprus, his siblings all spread around the world. Like dad just came to Australia. My auntie went to America.
Yep.
One of them went to Greece.
Yep.
One of them stayed in Cyprus. My auntie in America is like a born again.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's what it was. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And my sister, when she was like younger, my sister's like 17 years older than me. She went to America when she was like in her 20s, early 20s. So I would have been baby.
Yep.
And she met up with all of my like dad's side.
Yep.
They took her to a church.
Oh gosh.
And they were like speaking in tongues.
Yeah. Yeah, I did all that.
You spoke in tongues.
I did all that.
So is that so that Satan can't hear your prayers? Is that what that is?
No, it's just like a well, every church has a different explanation for it, but I think they weren't there's some churches that are as strict as to say like you are not like properly saved or a Christian unless you speak in tongues. Well, my church was like you can be saved without it, but also come on, like level up, and like a part of it is like you've got to do the do, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's a groupthink sort of exercise of like, and that's like another level of submission is like, oh, I have to do this to like fit in with the group. I have to do this to prove myself, and so I just go on with it.
Is it literally just like blah, 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 blah?
Yeah. And like the church that I grew up in, the Potter's House, which is so funny and unique about them, it's like, so it was founded in America. Americans came here and planted churches everywhere, right? You've got like full dinky die Aussies. As soon as they start praying in an American accent.
Are you joking?
It is wild, right? And so to me, that is just like, okay, you're just literally monkey see, monkey do. There's no God in that. There's no Holy Spirit in that. And so I was part of all that sort of stuff. And I was more than happy to like step away from it.
It's weird because you see, like, I'm a big fan of like, not big fan, but like I really used to delve into like serial killers.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan, but like I used to like obviously what like a lot of the Charlie Mansons like and occultist kind of things. And Anton LaVey, even though like just those kind of characters.
Yeah.
And in your head, you're like, what fucking retard would fall for that?
Totally.
But now that I've met you, and you're like a very normal dude. You're you're a fucking normal dude. You're hell more normal than me. And
what's funny is like it's the same argument. It's like most people that go to these churches are dumb, not intelligent, they're broken, blah blah blah, but they have really intellectual, smart people, engineers.
It's like Scientology. That's the biggest one.
But I think it's a completely different ball game, and how they manipulate, like, it's when I can't say too much, but I just want people to experience it to see what it's actually like, because they know it's a well-oiled machine. As soon as you walk through that door, they've just got you, right?
Interesting.
It's like a mind trick, man. Like they know,
and they're good at it.
They're really good at it. When I was at the other church, when we'd have like leadership meetings, you're taught certain tactics to interact with certain people and to make sure that they get you all their personal details. You're taught that stuff. Like it's just normal. Nothing normal about that. It's like crazy weird sales techniques, but like on another level, man. Because and I think that a lot of it is that. It's like you put God into the mix, and people just like would just do anything because like they want to please God, right? So knowing that, the pastor's like, oh, cool, wicked. I need more money. Let's just like preach another sermon on money and just like tell them to give. That sort of. It's just that simple. And now that I've stepped back and it's been over a decade, it's like, oh, how like obvious is it? But like I said, when you're in that bubble, it's just not.
I might have to join a cult for a YouTube video.
Do it.
Do you reckon anyone would take me on for a documentary purposes?
I think you should just do it solo, dude. Just get in there, get a little secret camera, just go in. It's crazy. It's weird.
What's the cult these days? What's the best one?
It depends on what you want out of a cult, I guess. Like America's just rife with it. But what was that? Is it Nexium, the one with the sex cult, and the guy would brand the chicks and shit? Is it Nexium? Yeah.
In Australia?
No, in America. Like I'm saying, like America is just so prone to, I don't know what.
What was the one where he made him do like a mad mass suicide?
The Jonestown one? Yeah. Drink the Kool-Aid. Yeah, definitely. But like, honestly, like those same tactics he got to get them to drink the Kool-Aid are used today everywhere.
Well, it's like Charlie Manson at least was using psychedelics. Like, so you can kind of get it.
And there's this, I don't even know, but there's all this stuff coming out and saying there was like a CIA. Like,
that's MK Ultra. No, it's not even coming out. It's fact.
It's like an actual, like, just psyop.
They used to get, when LSD came out, they were like, how can we fucking use this in the 70s to like, the whole fucking hippie movement was all a psyop.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah. Like the protests and stuff. Like,
all of it.
Here's a pallet of bricks.
All of it. It's all a psyop. And then they did the MK Ultra, and Charlie Manson just kept getting arrested and kept getting let out of jail. Why did he keep getting let out of jail?
Yeah.
And then LSD came into it. Mm-hmm. And then these hookers
Yeah.
would have these brothels.
Yep.
And they would get these clients, and they would be behind, like they would be in a brothel, but behind the glass was CIA. This is all documented.
Oh, dude.
This is all documented.
That
like
is
it's all released information
Yeah.
by the CIA.
Wow.
They used to have like the mirrors where they're blacked out, but you can see through.
Gotcha.
And these hookers would dose the clients with LSD, and the CIA would watch what happened.
Really?
And how much they could like manipulate
yes.
And that's what Charlie Manson did. He just fucking used LSD to kind of trope people into doing these fucking heinous acts.
And you mix that with some sort of weird religious sort of like teaching and mix God into the mix. It's just, you've got people hook, line and sinker, dude.
God's a big one at the moment.
It's a big one.
God has made a resurgence.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's hell popular to be into Jesus.
It's kind of like only natural. It's like a response to like all this, the woke feminism stuff, right? And so people are like complaining, all these men are not feminists now. Like, feminism is just not cool anymore. It's like, you can't even support women yourself. What do you think? Like, you've been bagging on men for years now. Of course they're going to like revolt and go to religion.
Yeah, it's just religion. I feel like religion's really hot right now.
Yeah, it is, dude. Yeah.
Whether it be Islam or Christianity or whatever.
Islam's huge, man. Like, look at all these fighters, dude.
People fucking love believing in shit, dude.
Yeah.
They love believing in shit.
And as far as like the Christian beliefs go, like Christianity's different because in most religions, in the Abrahamic religions like Judaism,
you'd be really well versed on this as well, wouldn't you?
But also, I've forgotten a lot. But like Christianity's different because Jesus actually sacrificed himself. Like that, you won't actually find that in any other religions. And so, like a lot of what Christianity is like we're the top dogs because our God did something completely different to yours, right? But for them, it's like an elitist thing. It's like you can't actually believe in anything else because this is, Jesus did what no one else has ever done, and so we're always the top dogs. But I think when it doesn't take much for people to in Christianity, especially, there's so many different versions of it, so many different doctrines.
That's why you can't believe it.
Yeah.
That's the reason there. Like, what's the real one?
At least with Islam, they've only got two, like the Sunnis and the
Yeah, some of them are
Shiites,
pretty some of them, like, some of the things in there are a bit like, but as long as as long as religion makes you less shit of a person, that's fine.
Oh, totally. And I think a lot of people...
I don't rag on... I kind of think it's a bit funny that people believe... Like, if you believe the stories aren't parables and they're like not meant for moralistics, like they're not meant to invoke a story rather than actual events, you're a fucking retard.
Totally.
Like, if you believe the stories, if you take them at face value, and you actually believe that Jesus died and then raised again, you're a fucking idiot.
There's a lot of people that do that,
but that did not happen. Like, but Jesus was a person.
Yeah,
there was a person that claimed that he was the prophet of God. At the end of the day, but there's also people now in Rundle Street on cocaine and crack that claim that they're the prophet of God.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah,
it's not unbelievable that there was a Jesus and he did great things.
Sure. Yeah.
But believing that he turned a piece of fucking bread into 50 fish or whatever the fuck he did is so wrong.
And I don't know the ins and outs of like Islam, but like,
well, most people follow it, so it must be something to
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's pretty easily debunked, like marrying like a 9-year-old or
that's where I kind of fucking I don't know about I won't shit on anyone's religion. Personally, if I was to choose a religion, I'd probably go the Mormon route because it's hilarious.
It's pretty funny.
It's funny as fuck.
It's pretty funny.
It's so funny.
I love seeing those videos online of like guys just asking like Mormon students things. They're like, would you rather kill a puppy or like drink a cup of coffee? And they're like, kill a puppy.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Is coffee no bueno?
Yeah, because it's a stimulant. It's a summer drug, and
I might have to repent some sins. Coffee's bad.
Yeah, I mean that's why Christianity is different. I think it's.
Do you feel like because you were essentially caged up like a fucking animal for most of your life.
Sure.
Do you feel like that's why you've leaned into the expression of art as your outlet so much?
Possibly.
And it's shaped your kind of art style?
Yeah,
because there is a sadness to your art style. There's always undertones of like...
Yeah.
I wouldn't say misery.
No,
there is. There's always like a real undertone of like a real heavy sadness in all of your pieces.
I think that's definitely something I've got to work through. And maybe that's why.
But no, it looks, it's good. It's It gives it weight. It gives your pieces like even the skulls. It's like even if you have like the beautiful skull you painted me with the blues and the mushrooms coming out of it, and the flowers. It's still a fucking heavy piece.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think. Well, to me, artwork should kind of have that sort of
emotion invoking.
Emotion. It should evoke that sort of thing in it. Like, there's a lot of artists that can copy a photo. Great, awesome, technically amazing. But like, can you evoke and connect with people in that way? So in my artwork, I've always had that undertone. But I think, maybe that is something to explore. Like in like, if this sort of cult stuff has kind of had an effect on me that way. I do love like religious art, like Catholicism and Catholic art.
When I went to Belgium, was the first time I experienced it. They have a lot of like
cathedrals. Yeah,
and I've never seen like a really old school fucking 1700s, 1400s cathedral.
Dude, seeing that in person,
man,
wild.
But the art. Like, when it gives me goosebumps thinking about it.
It's crazy.
Even Orthodox kind of religious art, definitely. It's got such a distinct flavour.
And Islam, like those mosques inside, like overseas, are insane.
Mosques,
dude.
I've been inside a mosque before. I've been in the one in the western suburbs.
I live just a block away from one.
Yeah, I've been to a mosque, and they are like the most beautiful buildings.
But probably not the ones like overseas are, dude.
No,
like,
nothing like those.
Oh my god, like the ceramic tiles and just the.
But if you go to a cathedral, insane! Man. Like, have you travelled?
No, I haven't done any of that. I'd love to see that.
My missus went to the Vatican last year.
Yeah.
And she said it was so overwhelming.
It would have been.
Like every square inch of that place is the most beautiful fucking thing you've ever seen.
I listened to a podcast with Russell Crowe, and he was talking about his times spent like shooting the Gladiator and stuff. And he would get private like viewings of the 16th Chapel and stuff.
Right.
Private, and they would have like an entire orchestra play for him and shit. Insane. I think as far as art goes, that's probably the pinnacle, right?
When you do like with art, like what would you consider? What would if you had to put like 4 hashtags on your art? What would you tag it as? Style wise,
shit.
Because art, like much like fucking metal, has so many subgenres.
Yeah, that's right. Well, like
what genres would you specify yours as?
It's in kind of within the kind of like European style, like
surrealism.
Yeah, pop surrealism definitely. But like the I love like so my kind of Mount Rushmore of painters are like they're all mural artists. Like so, Sina is from Poland, Sebas Velasco from Spain, Zoa from France. Artis from Spain, and maybe chuck in El Mac. Have you ever seen El Mac?
No.
He's from Mexico. Look, pop him up, dude. Like, because he's...
How do you spell that?
Just ELMAC. Just what he can do with a spray can is just insane. Look at that.
Is that him?
Yep. So, like...
Oh, fuck.
Right? But that style has come from the spray can. From when you use like specifically a New York cap and say a low pressure paint like a 94, it comes out in this arc. So like just click on one of the murals, right? Click on that.
That one?
Yeah. And zoom in. That is like a one line of spray.
What do you mean?
Like that's just like him doing line after line of just spray paint.
Wow, and layering. That's insane. That would be and he uses like the building's tone heap.
Totally.
Which I like.
No one else can do that, right? That's his thing. That's his style. And so like...
Oh, that's crazy.
The artists that I love, they all do completely different things. Like
Do you have a respect for people that can paint like those ultra realism paintings?
No respect at all.
Really?
You can learn that. You can go down the shop, go get a fucking painting degree any day. Like people do. They go to Europe, they go to the top art schools, and they come out like printers. You're a fucking printer. Cool, man. Then
from
what?
a technical aspect,
no, like, I mean, maybe from like tattooing. See, like what Morris does, that's incredible.
Yeah, because of the medium. Because of the tattoo, because it's on someone.
Yeah, totally, absolutely.
But on a paper, like.
But even his painting, I love. Like, I respect that mad, dude, because he brings the photo alive. He brings it to life, right? But you got people that like they churn them out in China, dude. You see all these footage of like hundreds of people like sitting for an exam and they're all painting the same photo. That's not art, dude. You got the technical skill, but what else have you got to say? So for me, I'm like, that sucks.
My favorite style of art is the clash of styles. I like when there's ultra realism mixed in with like cartoon elements or.
Look up here. Sorry, again, I have to. There's a Korean guy called, I think it's Royal Dog. He does super realistic portraits, but then he brings in like cartoons and stuff. And like the full graff element to it.
I fucking love that.
And I think that's why I love.
I think that's really hot right now too, as like a
you got like
style.
If we're talking this, like the GOAT of all time is Soffles, is Russell. He has like stayed true to his graffiti roots.
He's never replied to me though.
Come on, Ross, get in the comments. He's like untouchable, dude. What he can do with a spray can, absolutely no one can do. And the same as Smug. Smug is the same thing. I've watched those guys paint, and it's nothing different to what anyone else is doing. But every time they paint, it's completely different to what they're doing. Like those guys are like.
Would you say Soffles is the greatest of all time in Australia?
100%.
Probably even in the world.
100% in the world. He's done all the trains to prove it. You know, he's put in his hard yards.
I heard he still fucking goes on a little mission.
I'm not gonna say a thing about
he might have
missions.
a different tag. He might have a different tag.
He doesn't care. He just does what he does.
He does those real fat cap things now that I like just real fucking fat.
Yeah, well, like the technical why Soffles is the GOAT of spray paint, right? So when you spray down hard, that comes out like the biggest like arc, but he has the skill to like hone it down to both. He can get it real fine, so like not touching the nib at all, and then he can also like get it fat. So in one line, he can go fat to thin.
So his can control is unparalleled.
And like, you know, he can paint with both hands. He's left-handed, but he can paint with both hands. Insane, just like, and I've heard him say in podcasts before, it's just like I just kind of like open myself into the universe or to God, and he kind of guides my hand and stuff. But like, what he does is another level, and no one else could do as good a thing as he. And like, you know, what I love is like he'll start off with design, but it'll end up being something completely different. And what you want is that completely different thing. When I go for jobs or when I have to do a job, it becomes boring after I submit the design, because I'm more or less printing what I've created on the design onto the wall. There's no much room. Like I said in my own work, I'd love to have more room and more flexibility to do what I want. But for him, he's like, I'm going to sketch. It's probably going to look like that, but like, just let me have a play. And he does, and it's always insane, dude. So he is the GOAT. Shout out, Russ.
Well, it's always a pleasure catching up with you, Jack. Thank you for coming
brother.
on.
Sorry it's taken so long.
No, it hasn't taken that long. It's been good. We worked this out nice and quick. When are you hoping to put on an exhibition? When's all this? Do you have a time frame?
Yeah, I'm pushing myself to release a show at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's definitely not going to be in Adelaide. I'm sorry, folks. It's just not going to be here. It's probably going to be in Melbourne. But that is, like I said, that's my little side mission from the main mission. The main one is probably going to take another 2 years, I think. And then how I sell it, I don't know. I think I mentioned to you before, but like I'll have like a private viewing before the opening night for like serious collectors only, and they get first dibs on it, and then hopefully, ideally, it's all sold, and then just have an opening party.
Just show everyone what they could have bought.
Yeah, but no one's got the money for it, so.
Nah, well, I appreciate you coming on, man. It's always a pleasure.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Boom.